let's talk about this year's game. So,
let's.
Our predictions, expectations, anything we feel like it. What's the temperature, Ray? How are we feeling?
You know what? I know I always say this, and I know this is because I've learned this lesson so many times in my life, and I think everybody else should learn this lesson too. You can't really have your heart broken if you go in with no expectations.
I think it was the famous Spider-Man No Way Home end of the movie.
Set
quote.
the bar low enough to trip over it, and you won't be surprised if you do.
Yeah, it's like fuck. I need to find that quote. It's like, oh, let's don't get too excited, and you won't be disappointed in the end. Something like that. It's like Zendaya says that, or Tom Holland says whatever. Anyway, good movie. That's basically it. I am optimistic about what's coming. I have a feeling it's gonna be okay. As soon as they're gonna drop the first trailer, it's gonna be hype. Simple as that. It's gonna be hype. I don't expect.
Oh yeah, everyone's gonna get excited.
Yeah.
Everyone's
It's like
gonna start. Yeah.
It's like pre-orders now. Come on. Yeah. So excitement's gonna be there. The hype is gonna be there. That's a given. But I do hope that, like I've been saying for the last couple of episodes, I think they will nail the aesthetics of the game, which is important, especially for a Battlefield game. I think they will nail the aesthetics. I don't know what's my expectations for the single player, because this is the part I'm really iffy about. What kind of single player we're gonna get, because we're supposed to get a studio that was supposed to make a single player for Battlefield 1 or for Battlefield 1. They were supposed to make a single player for the next Battlefield game, and that studio got shut down, and they basically got shut down last year March, something like that. And this is where I'm like the most iffy. I don't think the single player is gonna be good, but if we're talking about like salvaging anything from this single player that is coming in this next game, I would love to see a co-op mode. I would love to play the single player with friends, because I think it would make sense for a Battlefield game to have a co-op, type of thing. Yeah, if you want to play
that. I mean, I miss that element, because Battlefield 3 had that, and it was really cool. I mean,
it was missions,
granted,
yeah.
They were missions, they were separate missions, but I mean, it was still kind of cool in order to be able to just, hook up with a buddy of yours and sit and play some co-op and not have to stress multiplayer. I really like that. I miss that, too. I kind of wish... I wish they wouldn't have gotten rid of that. I mean, I kind of wish they would have kept that, but... It's one of those stupid things where it's like we must be the only ones that enjoy some of this stuff, because they keep claiming that they're implementing and doing stuff based on popularity, and it's like, are you?
If they go by data, I guess I don't know, but that data can be skewed and wrong and so on, because like who thought Marvel Rivals is gonna be amazing, one of the biggest games right now in the world, Marvel Rivals, right? It's hero shooters, right? Like, who more hero shooters?
Oh, the data shows that hero shooters are popular, but, I mean, here's the thing. You're looking at a market that's already saturated, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, if the data is telling you that that's what's trending, then I would look at that and go, we shouldn't do that, because everybody else is already doing that, and... we should do something in order to try and either take away from that or directly compete with that instead of trying to mimic it. But that's unfortunately not how the industry works nowadays, and it's not necessarily at the fault of developers either.
Yeah.
Certainly these days, across lots of industries, there are people making decisions who have, let's be real here, abso-fucking-lutely no clue what's actually going on with boots on the ground or how anything's done, or they're so out of touch with that part of the process that the handful of brain cells that did know that knowledge or would be capable of absorbing that knowledge have long since been on vacation or just don't care. So when they say stupid things like hero shooters are the fad still,
I personally thought that fad is dead. I thought
it's
like
dead.
I thought we'll never have another hero shooter that is gonna be popular, because unless Overwatch has a revival, but apparently this is killing Overwatch, which is quite hilarious. it's funny how that works, and I'm so sorry if you hear a plane in the background. It's just like one of those days.
It's one of those things where it's like you shouldn't ever be surprised because nobody wants to swim in your pool because you've made the exact same pool as the other guy who's got a really popular pool and everybody wants to go swim in that. It doesn't work that way. You have to do something different. You have to do something drastically different, like get a better sound, get a better stereo for your yard, or a bigger TV. You know how that neighborly battle shit goes. I mean, it's no different than any other form of competition. You have to actually do something that is going to make people look at that and go, well, I would rather have the shrimp with the Cajun seasoning over the lemon pepper shrimp, basically. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I would personally love to have single player that is co-op, with the option to complete solo, of course. But,
yes,
but
and a difficulty that will scale accordingly. I hate that crap with co-op missions that are still skewed to co-op being played single player. That's very annoying.
Yeah, it's like not designed for that. So I hope single player has like an option for co-op, and you can finish the single player in solo, of course, as any single player game. But a co-op would be nice. I mean, for Battlefield game, up to 4 players, a co-op single player missions, I think that would be cool, as long as they're done right. Because like I said, single player is one of those things that I worried most about, because I don't think the single player for the next game is going to be good, because the signs are not that. There's no signs to indicate this will be a good single player game. There's nothing. There's literally no signs. Shutdown studio, development's been going between studios, like from Ridgeline Studios that got shut down to Criterion, from Criterion to Motive. It's a
I was watching a Stephanie Sterling video on it yesterday, or not yesterday. Yesterday, last night actually. The number of studios that have shut down without even putting a product out is fucking staggering.
Oh my god, yes.
Like, they announced a product, and then like 2 weeks later they get fucking bought out or shut down, or both.
It's not even a product. It's like, we're making something, right?
Here's something that we want to do, and they put some concept art out, and then all of a sudden it's like, that's the end of it.
Yeah.
You know what I honestly think it is at the end of the day? I don't think it's really on, like, development studios or anything like that. You know what I think it is? I think it's a bunch of fucking vulture-ass investors that are roaming around just throwing money at this shit to buy it up, gut it, and sell it and make more money off of it. And that's really what it's starting to fucking feel like. It's like a really shitty way to launder money.
It's something's really not natural. So there's no way you can just like, we over invested and so on.
Well, now we gotta jettison all these people we hired. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Development is not going well. Then okay, hire people that fix your fucking development. I mean, I'm sorry. How is wasting millions and millions to get a new?
No, it's not a waste.
Building?
What are you talking about? It's a fucking tax write-off.
Yeah, a new build.
That's a business loss. That's a tax write-off now,
new
dude.
developers and so on. It's like, and shut it down 2 years without even showing anything. Like, I'm sorry, that's not natural. That's not business. I'm sorry.
It actually is with the way that business mentality people operate these days. That is exactly fucking business as usual. It's not a matter of, and we've said this for years, it's not a matter of making a product anymore. It has nothing to do with your product. How much money you're going to make has abso-fucking-lutely nothing to do with the product you make. What it has to do with how much money you make is how well you present some bullshit to some shareholders in order to get them, in order to throw some money at you to fleece the fucking shit out of them, because then you can rug pull them, shut everything down, and go, well, it's just not going to do what we thought about doing it, and sorry about that, bye. The investors get screwed over losing money, but they can sell at a fucking loss and still get a tax write-off out of that, and now you got a fucking tax write-off out of it too. It's a shitty way in order to launder money.
Yeah, something's definitely.
And it's costing people jobs and their fucking livelihood, and it's bullshit.
Like, for example, Marcus Leto, who was the head of Ridgeline Studios before he quit EA because the studio got shut down. I was, like, excited, because my dude was on Twitter and everything, asking people questions. It's like, one of the episodes we have on Battlefield 1 here, we were talking about storytelling, right? Or aesthetics, all that kind of stuff, right? One of the episodes was literally came up is because he was started to ask questions. Oh, would you like to see in a Battlefield single player? Like, oh, do you want to see characters or do you want to see like more generic stuff, right? Like,
yeah, we were getting pretty fucking hopeful about it.
I was
like, holy
fucking
shit,
excited.
Somebody's at like,
I was
the
excited.
golden age of development is back.
Yeah, I was thinking, oh my god, this guy actually goes out of his way to get the feedback, to get, idea, feel the temperature of what people feel like most. And I was like excited. Okay, this is a Kevin Feige type of thing. Like, my dude wants to build something, right? I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's fucking go.
This.
And then fucking studio
I was
gets shut
hyped.
down.
I was like, yeah, let's do this. Fuck yeah, yeah.
Yeah, then the studio gets shut down. I'm like, fuck you.
What a waste.
Yeah, what a fucking waste. So yeah, single player, that's the least I'm hopeful, because I don't have any hopes. Regarding multiplayer, okay, granted, I don't know what they're gonna we don't know any details what kind of details we're gonna get or what kind of game is gonna be. The most obvious thing, at least, known facts that basically leaks is that. Actually, wait, I'm sorry, no, it's not leaks anymore because it was confirmed by IGN and the investors thingy. So we're getting 64 players. That's a fact. We're getting classes back. That's a fact. We're getting some Levolution type of events like.
Put up. We gotta get the audience involved in this. So we're getting Levolution back.
I'm not editing the claps. Okay, fine. I'll edit the claps. I'll edit the claps at one point somewhere. I'll mark it at one point. Okay, whenever you use the fucking audio, can you please put it in the notes so I can actually keep attention to it? So, yeah, multiplayer. Because he has 64 players, he has classes, has some Levolution or events or whatever the case may be. What else was that confirmed? Well, naval combat, I guess, but that's not really a big confirmation of anything. It could be
what?
Be anything.
Naval combat?
Could be. Fuck's sake. So I was just thinking about it though. So I'm guessing. I think you and me are probably guessing that the first maps they're gonna release for multiplayer when the game comes out, they're gonna be all.
We know it's gonna be Firestorm and Metro. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I was thinking they're gonna be all original maps, but because it's gonna be a live service game, we need more. We're gonna be getting maps, one way or another, as content. And I'm just thinking, well, what's stopping you from remastering maps now? So with Battlefield 2042. You could not really do that. Well, I'm not counting Portal. You could not do that with Battlefield 2042 because of 120 player thing. You could not remaster maps and hope it's gonna work for 128 players. It's not happening. But
yeah, no, because it just wasn't. No.
Yeah,
no.
But because we have 64 players confirmed, that means all the maps that we had before, like. Striker Kargan for Battlefield 3, and I'm saying Battlefield 3 because it was 64 variant, and it was a bit different in Battlefield 2. Any map from Battlefield 3, any map from Battlefield 4, any map from Battlefield 1, any map from Battlefield 5, all those maps can be remastered, used, whatever the case may be. Modernized, Imagine taking a Battlefield 5 map or Battlefield 1 map and remastering it to make it modern because it's modern times, right? It's 2020, like it's a modern game, 2020, 2030, something. I can't remember what was the timeline we have right now. I would love to have some remastered maps. Maybe not the ones we had in Portal this year, not this year, but in the last Battlefield game. But I would like to see I would like to see a Zawad remaster, maybe.
I want to see one of the. I want to see a couple of the Naval Strike maps get remastered, and I know some people out there are groaning at me on this one, but
yeah, fan favorites should be.
Everybody, just shut up with your groans for 5 seconds and just listen to me. Those Naval Strike maps, I think it was there was I can't remember, something Islands was one of the better ones.
Lost Islands, I think. No.
Lost Islands was really fucking good. I remember that. And then there was another one where it was like a smaller chain of smaller islands. Those two maps stick out to me from that pack, and I think those maps really deserve a modern retreatment, especially if they're going to lean heavily into, say, naval combat and air-to-air combat and stuff like that, because you need that range and that wide open space. And the other thing that made it beautiful was, especially for infantry, was that the islands were small enough that you could actually have like a concentrated firefight on it, and it didn't last forever. It wasn't a constant struggle. It was either one team won that island and took it, and the other team backed off and went somewhere else, or they all just kept banging heads at each other, and other people went and capped other flags. And I love those maps. I think those maps definitely deserve a remaster in some capacities.
I mean, in a perfect world, we will have a poll, and DICE or whoever, EA, they would ask what kind of maps we would like to get remastered. Of course, the votes will be skewed in some shape or form. Well, Grand Bazaar, whatever the case may be. Like any map, right? Any 64...
But you know they're not going to do that. You know what they're going to do.
Yeah,
they're going to look at the server traffic data and go,
yeah.
oh my god, Metro is still the most popular map in the world.
Black Ops 6 in a nutshell, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. And I hate saying it, so please, again, if somebody out there who's actually working on the product thinks it wants to prove me wrong out of spite, do please.
Yeah. But I'm just like, I'm open for idea just them remastering old maps, because if it's 64 players, that means any map from any age, era, any game is fair play.
Could work.
Can work, yeah. Can literally work, because it was
Community map project remaster.
Oh my god.
Oh, see that map. That map deserves to be brought back into the modern age because of the history of that map. It deserves it.
I would love that. I would love that.
It deserves it.
Operation Outbreak, or Jungle Map, whatever you want to call it, from Battlefield 4. God, so good. So good.
Change some times of days around. Change some climates around. I mean, if you guys are going with, like, active weather and shit like that, like, you can get a lot of variety. I mean, even if they would just launch the game with, say, 10 maps, okay? And I know some people out there are like, 10 maps!
No, Ray, 10 maps on launch day, that would be, like, fantastic to a lot of people.
Well, I mean, we cut...
Because
okay,
our standards are so fucking low right now. Like, people expect 6 maps.
I was more or less trying to make the math easy.
Yeah,
but,
let's say 10. Let's say 10. That would be...
Let's say the game launches with 10 maps, okay? If you have reactive destruction that goes on, and you guys are keeping an eye on the heat maps as far as what's going on in the maps, and you're constantly making adjustments to that, that gives you another subset of potential maps as well. Because now it's the map with the tower fallen permanently, or the building blown up permanently, or a giant fucking crater in the middle of it, or that water has filled in, or, somebody triggered somebody triggered the Levolution and it set off a nuke, and now there's a giant hole in the ground, and because it was an island, now this hole has filled in with water, and now there's a water hazard in the middle of the map, and that's there forever now because the Levolution's been triggered that many times. That gives you one subset of maps. Then you take that concept and you add weather to it. Now you have a match that's just pure fucking hurricane with it has the potential to change to a sunnier aspect, or it's in an area where winter is capable of happening. So you have it so that you could start the match out with a snowstorm, and by the time it's just about over with, the snowstorm subsides. That gives you another subset of maps times 4, one for each season or weather event that you've got going on. And if you make it flexible enough that it changes, and we've seen it in the technology that it's possible, so nobody out there can tell me this ain't possible, you've now taken 10 maps and you've created well over 60 potential different map combinations for the same 10 maps. And then you add one, and now you've exponentially increased that factor as well. If you add another, like if you just add 2 maps, that continues to increase the replayability. There is ways to do this mathematically that makes sense, that won't cost a shit ton of money and apply a shit ton of resources to pull it off. But the thing is it's gonna take some work to get set up and get going properly. And I feel that if they would take this route that I've been screeching about for years, I feel like this is what the community is going to just latch on to and love. I can kick your ass I can kick your ass on this map while it's a snowstorm because I can take advantage of the weather effects. But if it's a regular, normal day out there, I'm getting wrecked by vehicles and other snipers and stuff like that because I don't have that cover anymore. You're changing the map dynamic without really doing much. And that would work beautifully. Change what vehicles spawn based on the weather too. I mean, you could have it so that if it's like a heavy ass tornado or a heavy ass hurricane or anything like that, aircraft are grounded.
Yeah, that would be actually cool. That would be cool. But my only worry is regarding that kind of stuff because, for example, there's I think I mentioned in the previous episode or 2 episodes, Battlefield 5 had, I can't remember, I think it's called Alloy or something. I don't remember. In Battlefield 5, there's a map in the mountains, right? It's a snowy mountain, and basically you find in the mountains. The map is shit in daylight, right? It's absolute garbage. But when the snowstorm comes in, the map is so much better. So I'm just worried that certain maps will be absolute garbage without specific element missing or added.
Unfortunately, that's a very high potential that it's going to be that way. I mean,
I'm not
make that argument with Levolution events too. Which map is better, Shanghai with the tower up or Shanghai with the tower down?
Ow. I have a cramp, believe it or not. Ow.
Ow. I thought the silence was like, I can't think of anything.
No. Okay. No,
that's how Battlefield maps have kind of been since Battlefield 4. Like in this state, it's great and it's a fun thing, and in this state, it's a slog. I mean, I kind of always liked that because it still kept everything pretty varied, and varied enough that it helped keep everything fresh. And I think in spite of some configurations just not being the best in the world, I honestly feel like they should remain and be that way in order to make you appreciate the times when I guess it would kind of be like the real life lesson, you know? You hate the weather when it's bad, but it makes you appreciate the good weather all the better.
Oh my god, I'm in so much pain.
Fuck, man, I thought you were like,
no. I'm good. I'm fully listening. I'm standing. I'm still hosting the podcast while standing while in fucking pain. I'm good. No, but
I mean, you get what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It would give the game the amount of variety that the community's kind of been clamoring for. It would do it in a way that makes sense, and it would do it in a way that shouldn't be that taxing. I'm not necessarily saying it wouldn't be. I'm saying it shouldn't be. Because the thing is once you get a system rolling and going, everything's, as far as I'm concerned, in my work, in the way I work, the way I do things, once you get a process rolling, everything gets better. Everything gets easier after the fact. Like it's the hardest thing is building the machine, but once the machine's running, all you really got to do is just fine tune it.
Yeah,
it's putting the care in to get it to that point.
Yeah. Also, I hope they can build the maps in a way that will be easy to change something. I know it's probably not possible from a game development point of view, but I would love to have maps that you can change for balance reasons or whatever the case may be. Because certain maps will not be good. I mean, I think that's a given. You can't predict how people are gonna react to a certain map, right? You can't.
Yeah, and that's why I say they need to lean on like heat mapping and monitoring and stuff like that, and actually observe and track how players are playing these maps and adjust them accordingly. That I think is another thing that they really need to do that COD just doesn't do.